You never cut off or anything on my end.
You were looking down when it happened.
Okay,
All
that might
right.
have been fast.
Yeah, I guess it was really quick. All right, let's do this. Boom.
Hey, this is Brett the Hitman Hart, the best there is, best there was, and the best there will be. And you're listening to the Smacked Raw podcast.
Everybody, happy Halloween. Hope y'all are having a good night. It's the Rewind. It's that show where RN and I take a look back at the latest week in wrestling, give our 2 cents, and let you know what we all think. We're your hosts. My name's Kyle Tyson.
I am Mr. 8984, Beauty, Brains, Browns, all the above for the Smack Raw Pod.
Yeah. All right. Are we good? Are we, like, neither of us, like, on our deathbed sick this week?
No.
Yeah.
Last week, though, terrible.
Last week was a rough week for both you and me. It spread through my house like wildfire, man. It started with DJ, and then it just worked its way through the rest of us. And then you told me you were feeling it on your end all the way there in Ohio.
I was sick till about Thursday last week.
I'm still coughing up a little bit, but I think I can get through a show where it's not like egregious.
Right.
Where I'm not going to be coughing in your guys' ears all day. Oh, man. So we're going to be talking about Crown Jewel. Crown Jewel's coming up this weekend. There was a whole bunch of like wrestling stuff and news that's happened over the last 2 weeks. But at this point, it's all old news. Eyes forward is what I always say, which is actually the opposite message of what the show is built on. But anyways, we're going to be talking about Crown Jewel. Coming from, where? Riyadh, Saudi Arabia this weekend. I think so.
Somewhere with some rich motherfuckers, or I don't know.
Yeah, it's they just hosted the Francis Ngannou Tyson Fury boxing match.
Right.
Over the weekend. Yeah, and it's looking like it's going to be some fun. These Saudi shows are not they're pretty well put together. But I think the one thing, and correct me if I'm wrong, is typically there's no stakes, and then when there are stakes, they usually go like as far south as they possibly could. Primarily referencing like when The Fiend took on Goldberg.
Right.
Yeah.
My thing with the Saudi shows, I always look at them as just like non-continuity content. You know what I'm saying? Like, we know nothing of importance is going to change, or anything that's worth watching is going to happen on these Saudi shows. So it's like, basically, they're like glorified fucking dark matches. Honestly.
Yeah. I mean, that's what it is. It's like a house show on the scale of like a WrestleMania, which is always pretty intriguing. I don't think this time there's any custom belts up for grabs. It does seem like a pretty straightforward pay-per-view. I mean, the card itself is something you would expect out of like a Big Four pay-per-view. You know, there's not really much filler going on here. A quick rundown. The only match that's like no stakes is Sami Zayn and JD McDonough, which is on the kickoff. Which I thought I heard they weren't going to do no more matches on kickoffs. Maybe I'm wrong on that. Thought I heard that at some point. But yeah, no, it looks like a good card. It looks like a good card. It's going to happen in the middle of the day.
And 9 times out of 10, they are always good cards. But like I said, we know that nothing that's happening there is of any importance of the moving forward as far as storyline goes or anything like that.
Yeah. Before we kick that off, just want to thank you guys for joining us. If we seem a little off our rhythm, we missed a week last week. RN and I were both out sick. We're kind of coming into this show tonight cold. I don't know about you. It's Halloween. I've been super busy. We got kids. Right. I just got done taking them trunk or treating. I guess we didn't do trick or treating this year. We tried to knock it out quick.
We just got back from trick or treating, so
yeah. So this is kind of coming together last second. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna cover the Crown Jewel card. But before we do that, if you guys like the show, please follow us. We're over here on twitch.tv/SmackedRaw, youtube.com/SmackedRaw podcast. Heck, you can even watch the show on my Facebook page. If you ever miss a live show, the video version goes up on YouTube on the following day. And then, of course, the audio version of the show is found everywhere. So, thank you guys for listening, watching, all of that stuff. Without further ado, Aaron, let's just kick it off. Let's just get into the show. Why not?
Let's get it.
Let's go. So, kicking off the night, we're going to go ahead and I wasn't even aware of this match. I'm just learning of it now on CBS Sports. Sami Zayn taking on JD McDonough. JD is the fall guy for Judgment Day. Dude, is he a member yet? Is this guy in the group? Dude, he's not even.
He should be by now. I mean, I don't know what the hell they're doing.
Like, Damian Priest doesn't even chase him off anymore. You know what I mean? Like, he's just...
Right, they had their normal Judgment Day business only, and no one was like, well, what's he doing here? Like, that he was still... No one said anything. They acted like he was there. Like, get this motherfucker some leather and some purple and keep it fucking moving.
Yeah, might as well. Yeah, so this seems just like a match thrown together to get these guys on the card.
Right.
I don't really see anything... major coming of this. Sami Zayn is 100% winning this match. Sami Zayn is talking about his split with Kevin Owens and Sami getting to prove that he belongs in the main event scene. With that being said, he should be able to blow through JD McDonough fairly easily. Although I will say this, did you catch Raw? Because JD had a really good match with Seth Rollins last night.
No, I haven't watched it yet. I'll watch it tomorrow. But yeah, I know a lot of people didn't get to see him a lot because he was in NXT UK, but was trained by Finn Balor, and like he's really fucking good on the mic and in the ring. Like I'm talking about like 5-star match type shit in the ring. So like it doesn't surprise me that he had a good match with Seth. I mean, he's a fucking dog. That's why I don't know why they don't just add him to the Judgment Day and keep him moving. Like you said, that's another body for them to use and get these dope matches that like he's doing. So like it doesn't surprise me at all he had a dope match with Seth.
Yeah. Raw last night it was shaping up to be like it looked like Seth was gonna squash him, but then on the second half of the match JD started getting some momentum and it was really good. I'll tell you one thing though. The match of the week, which is going to be hard to beat if you're going to go back and watch anything, it's going to be Alpha Academy taking on, who's their equivalent in NXT?
Creed Brothers.
The Creed Brothers, yeah.
Right.
They tore it down last night, RN.
The Creed Brothers are another one. Like, they are fucking nuts.
God, dude. I was like, dude, yes, you can tell Triple H is at the helm here because... This just seemed like one of those times where Triple H just told all 4 guys, like, just show everybody what you can do. Just go out there, get it done, show them what you can do. Because it seemed, the typical WWE match formula, and then you remember like the NXT matches of Black and Gold. It was like 75% Black and Gold NXT, 25% like WWE main roster. The match was
get used to it.
Oh man, it was so good. It was phenomenal. I'm not gonna lie.
Did the Creed brother do his cannonball?
Yeah, I thought that was a fucking mistake at first.
No, that's literally a move that he does. Like
I thought he landed on his partner, man. It looked like he inadvertently like coup de grace his partner's freaking nuts. I'm not gonna lie, but
that's really a move that he does.
They did it to and of the 2 members, they did it to Otis.
Yeah.
Instead of Chad Gable, they performed the move to Otis, and it was pretty badass, man. Not gonna lie, the Creed brothers are ones to watch. Not gonna lie, I know we're not talking about Raw, but I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, the Creed brothers won the match. Yeah, it kind of stunk a little bit because it's like you finally take the reins off of Gable and Otis, and then you make them lose. But you know, good on making the Creed brothers seem like a legit tag team. They're definitely main roster bound after that.
Oh yeah, well they are probably the best tag team in NXT. Like,
yeah,
they've been a team. They look like a team. They dress like a team. Even when they were part of Diamond Mine, you know what I'm saying? Like, they're fucking legit. And the one brother, I always get their names mixed up, but the one brothers, there's definitely a Jannetty. I don't think either one of them are Jannetty, but the taller one, like that motherfucker, like he's so fucking smooth in the ring. It's Julian, and I always forget the other ones.
Yeah, it is. Brutus and Julius.
Yeah, Julius is a fucking dog, future world champ type shit to me.
Yeah. Taking a look at these guys really quick. Yeah, these guys are some big dudes. Yeah, they look legit though. Yeah, they look pretty gnarly. They're gonna. Ivy Nile was out there mixing it up too for a little bit herself.
Too, for
it was a fun match, man. I mean, like I said, it easily it was match of the night for Raw, and then it's gonna be tough to beat for match of the week, man, for sure.
They're about to beat it right now, just dragging off Mello 3.
Okay, yeah, I mean, probably. Next up, Cody Rhodes versus Damian Priest. Cody going into this with a busted ankle. Damian Priest Pillmanized Cody's ankle on last week's Raw, I want to say. Yeah, Priest, of course, is still holding. He's Mr. Senior in the bank, or Senior Money in the Bank, excuse me.
Yeah.
And he's, of course, teasing cashing in essentially every pay-per-view now. That is finally like a talking point. We're starting to draw eyes to it, which is good because it's helping flip the perception of Priest as like a main event guy, which he's always been on the cusp of, but he really seems it now. I'm not going to lie. He was jaw-jacking Cody, I think it was. Or no, Seth. Him and Seth were jaw-jacking each other on Raw, and yeah, it's time to pull the trigger on that guy for sure.
Yeah, it's just my thing is like what I don't understand is like Judgment Day runs Raw. It's 5 of them. Why don't they just come out and beat the fucking dog shit out of Seth and let him cash in and keep it fucking moving? Like some of the things they have as far as storylines go, like sometimes like they just like it's beyond the suspense of belief. Like, come on, bro. Like y'all are on every fucking show, terrorizing everything. There's no way y'all could have got a title shot or cash in on Seth yet. Like,
I mean, the perfect timing was that last man standing match with Seth and Shinsuke.
Yeah.
But that whole match is built around incapacitating the guy to the point where he can't like stand up. And you're telling me, even with like a bum knee, you couldn't run out there and like use it because you can. I love Money in the Bank, and don't get me wrong. And then, of course, this is a cardinal sin. You're not supposed to think about logic in pro wrestling because otherwise it falls apart immediately. But yeah, when you have a guy with Money in the Bank and he's part of a faction, you should literally be able to cash in pretty much same night. Because you can have your entire faction beat down the guy and then just cash in, and there it is. It's done. But
yeah, and it's not even just like in a faction. Like he's in maybe the most, not maybe he is in the most dominant faction in the company and in the last few years behind the fucking bloodline. Like,
yeah. Now, back to the match at hand. Here is Damian Priest, of course, against Cody Rhodes. They're trying to sell us that Cody's ankle's hurt. This is kind of a match where you really want to feel like neither guy should lose. However, you know, if you're going to go with like the past WWE tropes, they usually have the Money in the Bank guy lose frequently because he can just cash in at any point. However, with Cody having a hurt ankle, do you think that's more of an excuse for his loss or just some more adversity for him to come over in his victory?
I'd say he's going to overcome it. I mean, that's what Cody's set up for. White meat babyface.
Always, overcoming injuries and stuff. And you don't think Cody's at the point where people are starting to get sick of him yet, do you?
No.
I don't think so either.
No.
I think if anybody is, people are starting to turn on Seth a little bit. Like every pay-per-view that Seth puts up his title, I find myself wanting the other guy to win now at this point. Like, I just find myself rooting against Seth.
To me, it's that damn back storyline. Like, they play that shit up too much. Like, I don't know. And then him being the face with the song and shit. Like, his persona, how he looks and everything screams heel, but he acts face and, like, talks to his opponents like a face and everything. Like, I hate when they do this with him. Like, just let him be the fucking heel. Like,
Yeah.
It's what he does best. Like it's what he's the best at. Like and like you said, eventually him as a face, he always gets turned on by the crowd. So
They
it's like
told the perfect story for him to lose to Shinsuke. And they made it where he could have stayed strong and yeah, I really believe they missed the ball with that one. Granted, what does a Monday Night Raw look like with Shinsuke World Champion afterwards? I don't know, but they did the story they set up with his back, with all of that. They set it up perfectly to hand that belt off to Shinsuke. Now it's just gonna feel like, I mean, granted, I'm willing to be surprised, but at this point, I'm convinced that he's just gonna lose it, and we're gonna be like, oh, tonight was the night. You know what I mean? Like instead of it being climactic or anything, it's like, oh, they just decided to do it tonight. It's probably going to be Damian Priest. That's probably what it is. Is Seth's back is finally going to give out in a match, and Damian Priest, and that's how they'll tell it. You know, that's probably where they're going with that.
right. No, I agree. Like I said, my main thing was just like the back should have been brought up because, like you said, like now we're never gonna be surprised if he drops the title.
Yeah,
because we know it's the back or has something to do with the back. So like we're not gonna really get anything from it when he actually does drop it because they've been playing that up so fucking much.
yeah. But once again, I agree with you. I say Cody takes this one. WWE, whenever they have a guy with that belt, or whenever they have the guy who won the Royal Rumble or has the Money in the Bank, they don't mind letting them lose a bunch before they get their shot. Next up, United States Championship match: Rey Mysterio taking on Logan Paul. This match kind of flew up on us, man. I will say, dude, Logan Paul's involved with WWE more than I anticipated him to be. I thought he was going to be more of like a Brock Lesnar type-esque, like maybe like 2 runs a year, but he's showing up like every other month.
Yeah, I'm not mad at it. And I figured it would be something like that too, because like he's a real fan and like he gives a shit about it and he's good at it, which I think kind of threw people off. And that's why I think he's more and more involved because I think he's doing more with it, practicing more. So I think we're going to see a lot more of him, especially within the last 6 months.
Yeah,
than we had before. Like, because he's coming for Rumble for sure.
Yeah, we have known ever since Logan Paul announced that he did sign with WWE and wasn't just a 1-match deal a while back. We knew that he was championship bound. We didn't think his first belt would be a world title. We've been saying his first belt would be either the Intercontinental or United States Championship. He already has a win over Rey. Is this the match where Logan Paul obtains his first championship title?
I don't think so.
Yeah?
And I think it's because, like you said, he's going to be in and out. Maybe, but I just don't see him beating Rey Mysterio.
I got it different, man. I think Logan Paul is taking home the gold. I feel like he just had that what felt like an obviously fixed boxing match with Dylan Dennis. Right. And I feel like he's now WWE bound through the Royal Rumble, maybe through WrestleMania. Who knows? Maybe we're going to get Logan Paul for the next 6 months to some varying degree. He's going to show up on Impulsive with that title. He's going to do all his media. He'll put out YouTube videos holding that belt. I think this is where they do it because this is like arguably the biggest stage that Logan Paul will win a belt on. Because even though it's a Saudi show and we don't really consider it canon, they still deck it out like it's a WrestleMania. Mm-hmm. It's still a stadium show. It's huge, full of pyro and all the theatrics. I think he's going to win it, man. I think he's winning.
I wouldn't be surprised or shocked. I mean, it wouldn't be anything I'd be against. I just don't see. They rarely do shit on Saudi shows that affects actual storytelling and stuff. So, like, that's why I don't think he's going to win it. But, like I said, I wouldn't be upset if I was wrong.
Yeah, it looks like Lee from Perched on the Top Rope agrees. Thinks that he's going to pull out the victory at Saudi Arabia. Here we go, man. This next up, I'm asking you questions about wrestlers. Do you think the fans have turned on? And now I present you with one the fans arguably have turned on. We're in the midst of the turn. And that is Io Sky versus Bianca Belair. Of course, I'm referring to Bianca Belair. The little rumblings I see here and there is they're finally getting to that almost. I hate to compare, but I can't think of anybody else. If you can, please help me out. But like the whole like Cena wins lull meme that was when Cena was around and people hated Cena because he was like Superman and he was very bland and he always won. I feel like we're there with Bianca, man. I think we knew it was coming, but I think we're there now.
I mean, I've been saying from the start, people always forget that she started as a heel, and everything she does to me, if she wasn't so beloved, like it's all heel stuff for WWE. So I definitely think that I want her to be a heel. Like I'm hoping that happens.
Yeah, me too. I want her to be a heel too. Let's take a look at this match. So her and Io, of course, part of Damage Control. Bianca Belair traditionally rolls by herself. She's not part of any tag team or faction. She can't really turn heel on Io in this match, so I see her stuck in the bland baby face as far as this night goes.
I think not unless she attacks her after Io beats her.
I mean, yeah, but isn't Io like we like Io, and this is where it gets confusing because I think most people like Io, but you would have to consider she's still heel. Like she still needs help to win her matches. It just doesn't feel like she's reached her full potential, unfortunately. But she's definitely not the valiant babyface. WWE is not going to have a valiant babyface champion part of a faction unless your name is Kofi Kingston.
Right.
So they're going to really do heel. I just don't see it, man. I don't see it tonight. I want it to happen. I want us to manifest it. But I don't know, man. What do you guys think, Brocast? Do you think Bianca could turn heel this weekend, or when? If not when and how can we turn Bianca heel?
And join the new Her business.
Hey, I was letting you say it, not me, man.
I've been saying it.
I know, yeah.
It's just such low hanging fruit that they could get so much out of.
Montez Ford's got that new Gucci Man gimmick going on. He's kind of pulling off the narcissist woman stealing man gimmick. I've noticed like some of the stuff he's done on Twitter, and they've even Corey Graves has even referenced it on TV. How great would that be if he had Bianca backing up his sex appeal and they're talking shit to all the women and the men in the crowd,
right?
About how they're like a desirable couple that other people would on. I'm sure there's more like depth they could have to the characters, but it's already built in there. You know what I mean? It's already built in to have like a very narcissistic couple. But they gonna do that with Bobby? They gonna let. I mean, we do have women in male-dominated factions. Obviously, I mean, Rhea's the first one that comes to mind, but Ivy Nile with the Creed brothers. You have Maxine Dupree, with Alpha Academy. That's still technically a faction. Tozawa's in there now, so there's 4 members. So they could do it, man. I hope they do. Like, I'm right there with you. I hope they do.
I mean, that's what all I've been hoping for. But at the end of the day, like you said, it's the white meat babyface thing. Like, only certain people can get past it and move on from it and don't be affected by it. I just don't think that she's there yet.
Yeah, it just feels so awkward that you have her and Charlotte portraying these really strong, undeniable baby faces when all people want to do right now is boo the shit out of them. Right. More Charlotte than Bianca, but there's plenty of people that want to boo Bianca right now. I love Bianca either way, but yeah, she would be way more fun as a heel at this point, in my opinion. Yeah. Next up, John Cena taking on Solo Sikoa. I love the story of this match. This is what we talk about whenever you have these huge legends of the business and giving them a worthy story that doesn't have to involve a title, and that's John Cena trying to right the ship. Has not had a singles match victory in over 2,000 days. Quite the losing streak he's on. And he's taking on the enforcer of the bloodline. They had a wonderful promo between Cena and Heyman, where Heyman described that John Cena, even if he's not the GOAT in the ring anymore, he could last as long as Heyman with just his ability on the mic. And unfortunately, Solo Sikoa's Samoan Spike can take that away from Cena. They can take Cena away from the fans. Solo can take everything that Cena has away with one move. And I think it's a fantastic story. I think that's a really fucking awesome story, man, to tell. Cena's losing streak and then potentially his livelihood on the line here. With that being said, John Cena's totally fucking winning this match.
Yeah, like I said, I just like Solo getting some real experience and experience with top guys too, which is going to help out in the long run. But yeah, he's not winning this match.
I will say, dude, of all of the recent NXT, like this crop of this new NXT generation that's come up in the last like year to 2 years, I feel the most confident in Solo Sikoa is going to be like a world champ. He's just got so much damn potential. I think the only other young guy that has equally as much potential but doesn't get brought up in the conversation is Dominic Mysterio, and that's just because Dominic didn't have to go through NXT. Right. He's been doing it on the main roster this whole time, and he's killing it. But
yeah, no, I kind of agree. And not just Dominic, but Grayson Waller too. I think they're both there. But
yeah,
and I think too with the talent that they've brought up, like you're seeing the smooth transition that NXT talent never got.
Right.
And that's because Triple H is in charge. I'm sure that's a big, huge part of it. But it's also like they don't have to do a hard reset for us to wonder who the fuck they are and have to learn that all over again.
They're not doing that continuity thing where they WWE just strips away the work that was done in NXT.
Yeah.
You're allowing commentary to acknowledge the accomplishments, the accolades, the stories. I mean, referencing Monday Night Raw again, DIY just had their first tag match. I don't know if this is true or not because I know that they're skimming over like their like fake call up that they did that one time.
Right.
But what was being billed as their first tag match together in 3 years, and Corey Graves and Michael Cole probably spent like 5 minutes of the match just filling us with all of that NXT history. You know what I mean? And that's awesome because now you don't have to take away, essentially make the guy feel like, okay, it's day one all over again. It's like, no, you can use your experience you've had to help accent this step up and just carry it forward. And it's great, man. No, you're absolutely right, RN. The NXT, this is honestly, this is how it should have been for the longest time.
Right.
It's still mind-boggling that we spent so many years of Vince and Co. just actively just going out of their way to break down like all the NXT call-ups. It's amazing. It honestly is.
Mainly just because anything that he didn't create himself, I'm sure he had left a bad taste in his mouth.
Yeah.
And that's why I knew from the beginning Triple H would be this way when he took over and that the WWE would be better for it because, I mean, regardless of how you felt about the WWE, no one ever had anything bad to say about Black and Gold. And the people would say that. I hate main WWE, but I love NXT Black and Gold. So we're getting that on every fucking show, every fucking roster, anything that has to do with creative. Triple H is showing us why he's the GOAT.
Yep. And NXT is having this comeback right now, too. The last couple weeks, Oh boy, man, it's hard to be a AEW stan. I'll tell you what, NXT is the hotness right now, like the indie darling internet
here's
hotness.
the thing. What and you know how much I hated when they redid it to the paint splash shit.
Yeah,
Because it was like old school WWE fucking janitors and fucking clowns and just like dumb shit.
yeah,
But now they're doing all the character stuff that originally they were throwing at us, but they're folding in good storytelling, wrestling, good match pace. You know what I'm saying? All the things that Black and Gold brought us. Now we're getting it with real WWE guys, because most of these guys, none of them were anywhere else except for a couple people like Dragunov, and then that's because they were holdovers from Black and Gold, but just over at UK. But for the most part, these are all new people, starting with the WWE, trained throughout them and everything, and like you're getting a little bit the real glimpse of the future, and I like that a lot because it's like we're not going to get a hard reset. We know who the next up-and-comers are. We know who the most important people are right now are because they show us on NXT and they bring those motherfuckers to Raw. So, like, you know that these dudes are prepared to move on to something else. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not like, all right, bring Kevin Owens up and name him fucking Drake Steele. You know what I'm saying? Like, why?
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, look what they did with LA Knight. It made him Max Dupree, you know. Dewdrop, yeah. Oh, did you see her Jim Neidhart costume? Or did you see at least a clip of it?
No.
Yeah, so Chelsea Green and Piper Niven dressed up as Bret Hart and Jim Neidhart. Nice. And it was fucking awesome, dude. Like, just it was like a 30-second segment with Adam Pearce backstage. And it was like, oh my God, this is the best. Because they did a lot of tasteless shit with Natty after Jim died. Right. You know what I mean? And it never felt right. But you should be able to parody the Hart Dungeon and all of these older wrestlers and homage them in like a simple, lighthearted, fun way. And that's what they did. Like, there was no disrespect there. It was all fun. But yeah, they looked... I mean, Piper Niven looked so much like Jim Neidhart. It's unbelievable. You have to watch it. It was so good.
Go look for it.
Yeah, Raw was good, man. Raw was good. Had a lot of good highlights on it, man. WWE's showing up lately. I can't deny it, man. WWE's been
just say Triple H
pretty consistent. Yeah, man. I mean, you can't deny a good thing. You know, I love my AEW, but hey, WWE's been pretty awesome lately as well. Yeah, but you and I were both in agreement. Cena's totally beaten Solo here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Next up, the Fatal 5-Way. Rhea Ripley puts her title up for grabs, taking on all the baddest women in Monday Night Raw: Nia Jax, Shayna Baszler, Raquel Rodriguez, and the totally underrated Zoe Stark. What should be probably the most chaotic full bodysuit women's match of the night. This one's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a fun match. I can't really say much on it. It's these guys. All of them have just been like beating the piss out of each other, week in and week out, causing a lot of chaos. I think one of the biggest highlights is when Raquel Rodriguez powerbombed Nia Jax, and then a perfect print of her face from her makeup was essentially stuck to Nia Jax's stomach. Junk was pretty funny, but it's just been some fun, and I think it's gonna be what I believe is a highlight to show Rhea's dominance some more. Mm-hmm. My pick is gonna be that Rhea retains the title because nobody else right now feels credible. Shayna had that big win over Ronda, but obviously that was a very short-sighted thing. They never followed up with it, which, by the way, what a waste, too, because Shayna was one half of probably one of WWE's best promo segments of the year when her and Ronda were doing their pre-tape hype videos for their match. And then, just poor follow-through on Shayna's end.
You know who I want to win this match. We don't even talk about. I want Shayna to win, but I just wish Zoe Stark there was somebody smaller for her to do some of her moves too, because her moves are fucking fire, her power moves. But When every
What's
bitch in
isn't
there
it
is
like
250.
Z360? She does some move, right? Like she like
that's her
flips
finisher. But I'm
them.
just talking about.
Yeah.
I'm just talking about all her moves though. They're fucking dope. But I mean, with Raquel and fucking Big Mama, like there ain't no way she's doing any of her moves to them unless it's like.
Oh
her
no,
aerial
yeah.
shit.
This is kind of what is low key meant to be like the Haas of the women's division,
Right.
Like all the Haas's, like it really is made up of like four of the five competitors are like
Yeah.
arguably the biggest and strongest. I mean, granted, you can swap Shayna with Bianca, and you really would have like
Yeah.
the four physically most empowering women in the roster until Jade Cargill, of course, debuts. But yeah. My pick is I don't see anybody beating Rhea for quite some time. I mean, I'm gonna come out and say it, man. Rhea is honestly probably the star of Monday Night Raw right now. This is like one of the first times where I feel like a brand is legitimately highlighted in the women's champ is actively overshadowing the world champ on the show, and I do think that Rhea carries more weight with her title right now and her presence on Monday Night Raw than Seth Rollins does with his. Not gonna lie.
I mean that's just the brass tacks of it. I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Like, she's the leader of the Judgment Day, and she's the mouthpiece and the front runner. Like, starts the show, ends the show. So like, nothing you're saying is wrong.
Yeah, it's fucking. That's actually that's not bad, dude. That's actually pretty cool to think, because you could argue that like when Becky Lynch was going through the man gimmick, she shared the spotlight.
Right.
But I think Rhea stands alone, man. So yeah, I don't.
Triple H is not scared of these things. Who gave us our first women's main event?
I'm assuming Triple H.
Yeah,
I'm assuming. I don't know.
yeah. First main event, women's main event a pay per view. Triple H.
Wasn't that the Sasha Charlotte one for Hell in a Cell? Yeah, I remember that kind of.
And on NXT, it was Sasha and Bailey, I think, for NXT.
Brooklyn. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So like, none of these things should be surprising anyway. If you actually look back, like he, the best for business thing is not just a fucking moniker thing for his character. Like he does what's best for business. The hot hand is gonna get the push, and right now is Rhea. And like you said, the crowd's kind of cooling off on Seth, but not Rhea. I mean, everyone knows that she's the star, and like you said, her title is arguably really even over Roman too, because he's gone so much. Like she might have the number one title and the number one spot in the company. Period. In my
week in and week out, at least.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, Roman shows up and it's him, but we get him maybe like 1 to 2 weeks a month at best.
I don't even know what his title is called. I still don't know what the fuck that thing is.
I forget to. I know Universal. is in there. I think it's like the undisputed on Universal Championship. I don't fucking know.
I don't fucking know.
It's gold and it looks awesome. It is the best looking of all the.
I was gonna say, it just looks like the old one, don't it?
Yeah, but it's gold. It's a gold strap.
Yeah.
Gold plate. Yeah. It's the best looking of the corporate logo belts. I'll say that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I still think they should they should have just used the NXT UK belts, because those are the best belts in all the WWE period, new ones and old ones included.
They are good looking. Yeah. You're not wrong there. Speaking of Seth Rollins, we've got his match with Drew McIntyre. This seems like the catalyst for Drew to finally pull the trigger on this slow burn heel turn, which has been done beautifully. It's told a great story from two sides. Obviously, there's the obvious part of this where most people have cried out that it was a shame that Drew McIntyre's championship reign was done during the pandemic in front of nobody, and then on his way back to getting the gold in front of the European crowd at Clash of the Castle, the Bloodline stopped him. And this is like the villain's backstory. And on the opposite side of that, you have Seth Rollins, the babyface, essentially saying "boo hoo." Like we've all had problems. You're the only person that suffered in the pandemic. Well, You know, at least you were a world champion of a company while everybody else was struggling to buy groceries, which is both very true and understandable sides of this argument, which makes for a three-dimensional character. And I think that makes Drew McIntyre the most interesting he has been in a long time, is this bitter fucking guy.
I disagree, man.
Really? Why's that?
I hate this whiny, bitchy McIntyre, like, if that makes sense. Like, and maybe that means he is getting me. Maybe that means I really do like him if we're following Dave's thing. He's doing what he's supposed to do. Like, I fucking hate him. Like, I think it's the worst version of Drew I've ever seen. The pouting and crying and shit. Like,
he's bitter.
As much as I don't like
bitter,
Seth,
man.
This like tweener shit. Like, he's right. He's like, bro, you're the only one still bitching about the fucking Judgment Day. I mean, about the Bloodline. Like, they're not even on this show, bro. Like, let the shit go. Like you ain't got. And then when he said, when I beat you Saturday, and you ain't gonna have nobody else to blame but yourself, like, that shit. I felt that shit in my soul when he said that.
Yeah, and I think the reason why I enjoy that is because it's an easy message to understand. You know, it's not. It's a very grounded and easy to digest story that also is not insulting to your intelligence. Because sometimes WWE makes stories that are just ridiculously easy, but also really fucking dumb when it comes to logic. But like with this, you could understand the motivations, and it could still really upset you that somebody you really like is being this bothered over something that they can move on past. You know, so I think that's just why it is. I think it's just one of WWE's more restrained, grounded stories. Granted, yeah, I think Drew loses and he finally snaps. Yeah, and I think something else will happen too, but I'm gonna save that for the end of the show. But yeah, I think Seth wins this.
My thing is too is just like, who does he go up against once he turns heel?
That's a good question. Let's take a look. WWE roster. There's plenty of people he can feud with. I mean, he can feud with the New Day for one. He feuded with them already.
Right.
You know, which, by the way, also, I'm just gonna keep spoiling fucking Raw for you. New Day were backstage trick or treating, and they were dressed up as the Judgment Day.
I did see that clip.
You did see that? Yeah. They're the new Judgment Day. I was like, yeah, man. I'm looking at WWE's roster page, and there's Undertaker on the motorcycle from the NXT episode. That's just kind of weird. There it is. Current, I want Raw superstars. Here we go. Dude, Apollo Crews is on Raw technically. Yeah. Bronson Reed is heel, unfortunately, because that would be a great fucking Haas fight. Mm-hmm. You got Cody. Cody's still gonna need shit to do for a couple months.
Yeah, I'm not mad at that.
Yeah. Ivar's heel. So they won't probably do that, but that would have been fun. He could squash Jinder again. Jinder's always good to come in for a week to get squashed by Drew. Right. Odyssey Jones is still employed, apparently.
Yeah, he got drafted to Raw, but never made a debut.
Nope. Sami Zayn is contending for the main event, so you got him.
Yeah.
Damn, that's about it, man. Veer, technically Veer's employed.
Turkish AOP.
Yeah, that's about it, though. Yeah, that's
nobody.
it. There's nobody. I mean, they could also just have him continue to feud with Seth. Seth could lose the belt, or will retain and maybe keep the feud going. Who knows? Yeah, I think Seth is winning this, though. Yeah. I don't see them dropping it over to Drew. I'd happily be surprised, but yeah. And last up, main event. Probably the easiest one to call of the night. Roman Reigns takes on the surging LA Knight. Yeah. LA Knight. dude, they're trying to capitalize on the peak of his popularity. It has waned a little bit. Like I don't think it's surging quite like it was like 3 or 4 weeks ago, but LA Knight's still super popular. I do love that his matches now get the crowd to chant "yeah" about 47 times throughout the whole match. Anytime he lands a strike, I hope somehow the "yeah" chant can overtake and eclipse the "what" chant and retire it. But that's just something else altogether.
I don't think he's winning either, but I don't know. I feel like it's too soon. It's almost too soon, like they did the Omega.
I'm not gonna
MJF,
lie.
like,
I don't even think it's gonna be a good match. I really just do not have faith in this match. I love LA Knight. I want him to do awesome stuff in WWE, but throwing him in a match with Roman where the formula has been the same now for well over a year.
Yeah.
Get beat up, get some offense, put Roman in some trouble, bloodline interference, boom, you lose. There's not much else they're going to do to right this. You know what I mean? Like, there's just not much else they can do with it.
That's my thing, too. It's like, they should have kept him as far fucking away from Roman and the bloodline as they can. Because now, even what little momentum he still did have moving into this, like, Roman's putting that fucking pilot light out.
And he's going to have to rebound. It's not like he's going to continue. I highly doubt it would turn into a long feud. He'd just have to rebound where somebody else can call him a failure on TV.
Right. And
to know his place. You know what I mean? And just kind of watch him publicly get his wings clipped a little bit. It's like I said, I love watching LA Knight. It's a lot of fun. I feel bad for anybody that's got to face Roman in the next like 3 or 4 months because it doesn't feel like WWE's too invested in Roman's creative until we start approaching Mania again. Unless we're going to get like a freak title loss, which is the odds aren't great. I just don't see it, man. It's just a tough spot for anybody to be in at the moment.
Yep.
So I mean that's the card. It's going to be a fun card. Don't get me wrong. I think. Who do you think the match of the night's going to be?
Probably Cody, Damian Priest.
Cody and Priest.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be. I think for in-ring wise, Rey Mysterio and Logan Paul will probably have the craziest in-ring match. But I think for crowd participation, it's going to be either Roman and LA Knight or it's going to be Cena and Solo. Because we saw that tag match that Cena did with Solo taking on Roman and Jimmy, or no, Roman and Solo. Mm-hmm. And the crowd was frantic for that. Like they treated that like it was damn near Hogan Rock. Like, which just shows what star power can do for a match. Right. Cash in. Think we're gonna see a cash in?
Nope.
I'm going to say yes. I think it's what's going to solidify Drew McIntyre's heel turn. I think Drew loses. He turns heel, beats up Seth after the match. Damian Priest cashes in. Priest walks away, the champ. And Drew and Seth can continue to feud. I think that's what's going to happen. That's what I hope happens. Once again, I'm going into every pay-per-view hoping that somehow Seth loses the belt. So
I don't have any like theories or anything like that. I just don't think it's going to happen.
Any returns?
Who's out?
Right now, I think the biggest name that people are waiting to see return is Randy Orton.
Oh yeah, they did say that he should be ready for Survivor Series.
That's what I've been hearing too, is Survivor Series.
So I don't know. But like I said, because everything's over there, like it's hard to judge these shows.
Right, exactly.
because it's non-canon. Like, I mean, no matter what anybody says, like the shit that happens on there is almost like it doesn't happen. So like, I don't know. I just don't see any. I don't see any changes being made.
Let's see here. I'm just typing in crown jewel rumors into Google, and we'll see if they have anything juicy for us. Let's see here. Yeah, nothing really comes up.
Yeah.
I think the biggest rumor would be is if Damian Priest finally cashes in, because the story that they're telling is that Rhea Ripley has pitted Drew McIntyre and Seth Rollins. Has extended her hand out to both men, and is waiting for one of them to grab it to say, yes, help me out,
Right.
and I'll be part of Judgment Day. I'll help Judgment Day, whatever it's going to be. But so I think that's the other part of the story too, is who asks for Judgment Day's help, and I think Drew will. But yeah, there isn't really much else rumored. I think like you said, I think Survivor Series is where all the juicy rumors are.
Like
where
2 weeks after this, I'm pretty sure.
yeah, there's the Randy Orton stuff, CM Punk, a whole bunch of fun ideas surrounding Survivor Series. With these Saudi shows, I think WWE is just happy for people to tune in. Just like, hey, look, here's a whole bunch of wrestlers. Just please watch it. We have like 8 more years of this fucking contract to fulfill.
Them motherfuckers just flying anybody. They have Vince, Eminem, and Mike Tyson sitting next to each other during that fight.
At the boxing match.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie. Like 3 of the most influential people of the '90s, Vince McMahon, Mike Tyson, and Eminem, all just shoulder to shoulder.
Right.
Yeah, there's like photos. Like Vince was hanging out with Undertaker, and what was kind of messed up is Dana White. A clip surfaced. Dana White was asked, like, what's it like working with Vince McMahon? And he said something to the equivalent of, like, Vince McMahon is like the Tom Brady of businessmen. He's the GOAT of, like, businessmen or something like that, right? He sung Vince McMahon's praises, which is hilarious because Dana White has historically always trashed Vince throughout the years, and just seems like he's gained respect for him. And then Vince McMahon was kind of asked the flip side of that later on, and he was like, yeah, I'm a better businessman than Dana. Which is kind of true.
Yeah.
UFC kind of like owes WWE for getting shows in Riyadh, in Saudi. UFC is going to get a fight night card, and it's arguably due to the connections Vince has made with the Saudi government.
Right.
So, hey, whatever proves your point, Vince. But yeah, I thought it was funny. But all right, man. Hey, let us know what you guys think of the show. Is it going to be worth tuning into? Are you still like into like the drama? Or is there still kind of like a weird thing about not wanting to watch the shows because of the Saudi government? Do you guys have any crazy predictions or picks of your own? Let us know in the chat, or let us know in the comments section. Of course, you can always find us on Twitter or X now. My handle is at the Kai Tai Show. RN is Mr. 8984. Spell out the word Mr. It's on screen. But yeah, man. Before we go, just want to let you guys know, a lot of people suffer alone. We just lost the legendary Matthew Perry, and he was notoriously depicted for his alcohol addiction and overcoming it. He actually had a quote that I sent out to a loved one that I know is struggling with alcoholism right now, and this person hasn't spoke to me in months, and they finally replied, and that kind of shows, like, you know, that it doesn't pay to suffer in silence. It doesn't help nobody. Reach out, man. Please reach out, find help, talk to people around you. Do not suffer in silence, man.
we're here for you. We both have, we're alcoholics, both dealing with depression and anxiety. So like, we know what you're going through. We're here. If you don't have anybody else to talk to, you got us.
Absolutely. I mean that 100% too. I haven't really had any adult conversations anyways. I'm not going to lie. I kind of miss having the old war story conversations. So please, it'd be therapeutic for us too, man.
Right.
But yeah, once again, it is something that a lot of people struggle and suffer from, and unfortunately, they oftentimes believe that they're doing it by themselves, and it couldn't be further from the truth. So please reach out. But I think that's going to do it for this week, RN. Any updates on your end? Anything you want to let me know, the crowd know? You got anything going on down the pipeline?
Super Bowl this Saturday. 3rd year in a row we made it. Hopefully 2nd year in a row we won it. We got 2 litters on the ground, Route 4 Kennel, and another one coming. So definitely look for that. Check me out on Instagram, Route 4 Kennel. That's all together. Or on Facebook, Route 4 Kennel. Pups available to ship anywhere in the U.S., so definitely get with me. Let me know if you guys are looking for a pup.
Yeah, that's. I kind of want a puppy. I'm not gonna lie. Anyways, thank you guys for tuning in, man. We'll catch you guys next time.
See y'all next week.
All right.